Hi there, welcome to the CISSP Twister of the Day number 132. My name is Manoj Sharma and I run the CISSP Success Toolkit, the world first program to prepare you end to end for your CISSP exam. Today, the twister I have picked up from CISSP objective number 8.2.9, that means it's from domain number 8. And one of the key factor in domain number 8 is also about testing part. And based on that, I have brought in one particular question for you. Feel free to pause this particular video, take a minute to answer this particular question. I will be coming back and explaining you this particular question after 10 seconds. Good. So I hope by now you might have already identified your answer. And with that said, let me go through and explain you what is the right answer, and also in the meantime we are also going to identify the keywords in the question, because that is very important. Understanding the CISSP question itself is the most important task, and when we do that, pay special attention to all the keywords we are using in the questions, right? With that said, let's go through this. You are managing the security assessment for a legacy software system. So, few keywords here is security assessment and legacy software system with outdated documentation. That means you as an assessor do not have access to the documentation part and you know nothing about that particular software. What assessment method is most appropriate to identify vulnerabilities in the absence of up-to-date source code or documentation? So, as you know, there are two different type of testing which can happen on a particular software, even three, right? Now, as per the April 2024 changes, they also have included IAST, all right? So, first one is SAST, that is Static Application Security Testing. SAST is more of a static testing. That means the code is still in the written phase, or you are writing the code itself. The software is not able to run at this particular time. So whatever testing happens in SAST is all about static code. Then if the SAST is able to identify certain vulnerabilities, and at some point of time the software is also able to be run in the dynamic environment, that is where we go with DAST as well. So what is DAST? DAST is a dynamic application security testing. DAST is very important, because in DAST the people do not have access to the source code. In SAST, people have access to the source code. That means they can understand what programming language it is. They are able to get the access to the source code as well. So one thing is for sure, you cannot do SAST in this particular case, because the application is still in the production environment and you have been asked to do the assessment, and in the absence of any documentation as well. That means the particular software is a kind of black box for you. And when a particular software is kind of a black box for you, the kind of testing which is done is called as dynamic testing or dynamic analysis, right? So I hope you understood the right answer here, but we will also take some time to understand why the other options are not correct. Option number B is threat modeling. Now, threat modeling is not a testing. It is a kind of risk assessment approach, which is more of a proactive approach, and it is done during the design phase or very early in the software development. It is not done during the development phase. It is done before that, so that you break down the high level, low level diagrams into smaller pieces, and then you pick up each and every piece and try to understand what are the security challenges with that. So that is what is threat modeling, and that one is not applicable in this particular case, because the software is already up and running. So that is immaterial in this particular question. Then fuzz testing is also one of the testing which is done when the system is kind of ready, the system is able to run, again a kind of DAST testing itself. But here the focus is a little bit different. Here we use a lot of softwares to do the Fuzz testing, and then we try to give some kind of rubbish value or rubbish input to the particular software to observe its behavior, right? How it can be? It can be some kind of input which is kind of expected input, and based on that some software we are using to further mutate that, or we can generate some kind of very intelligence fuzz from the beginning itself, and that is used for testing the software behavior and capability, maybe load testing also, and as well as security behavior as well. More of this can also could have been one of the answer, but largely if you see, the dynamic analysis is much more appropriate answer, because it is not only the first testing, there are some other kind of testing also which can be accommodated in the dynamic testing. So that is why we went for A, and we are not going with first testing. So we are ruling this out. Reverse engineering. Reverse engineering is most often done when you suspect that a particular software is a malicious software, it has some kind of code which you need to decode, and it requires high level of skills as well. And that is not something which is very relevant to this particular question. And that is why we are going to rule this out. So with that said, the right answer is in front of you, marked in green. I hope you enjoyed this particular question and you are slowly building up the right perspective. How do we answer the tricky CISSP questions? With that said, all the best. If you like this entire thing, feel free to subscribe to this channel and share this particular channel with others as well, so that they can also get benefited from this particular program. If you are somebody who is preparing meticulously for the CISSP exam in next few months, consider definitely going for cybernous.com, visit it, and you can get more details about my program. It is the best program to prepare for the CISSP exam. With that said, Jai Hind, and I will see you in the next video.